Ladies, listen up. I want to teach you a sex practice that will change how both you and your partner experience penetrative pleasure, and you can do it without even moving on the outside. This will intensify both your and his orgasm, give you more control over your pleasure, and give you a whole new awareness of what your body is capable of doing in the bedroom. I'm talking about Pompoir, also known as pussy milking, the Singapore gaze, and the Kabaza technique. Turns out this has got a rich and international history. And just a quick warning, if your partner struggles with premature ejaculation and hasn't taken my Come When You Want course, use this cautiously because it reliably makes men go wild. Now, if you haven't heard of pussy milking or the vaginal hand job, then let's break it down. Put simply, it's the art of engaging your pelvic floor muscles in a specific way during sex to increase the internal grip that you have on his penis. Think of it like your insides giving him a massage while he is in you. Tell me that doesn't sound incredible. But it's not just about him. This technique also feels amazing for you. You see, when we as women practice pussy milking during penetration, we experience a greater feeling of physical fullness, all up inside our vaginal canal. We increase the intensity of sensation, and it can lead to bigger and more powerful orgasms for us. And if you find it difficult to reach that big O in bed, this may just be the thing that you are missing. Pompoir is an amazing tool to bring into the bedroom if you want to feel more pleasure and gain greater control of your orgasms, not to mention his. This will make you feel like a sexual superhero or like a super badass divine sex goddess. And by the way, the best part, the way you engage your muscles during these exercises actually enhances the way you experience thrusting and penetration as a whole. Because learning how to control and sync movement between you and your partner can completely change the way that sex feels. And if you're curious about how to maximize pleasure through movement and technique, I go even deeper into that in my Thrusting and Positions Masterclass. In that class, I break down exactly how to create mind-blowing sensations by combining rhythm, precision, and connection. Now, in this video, I'm gonna break down exactly how to master the art of Pompoir for your pleasure and his. We're gonna talk about how to prepare, which techniques to use, and which positions are best. Now, without further ado, let's start with how. Step number 1. Find and engage the right muscles. Now, if you've ever heard of or done a Kegel, then you're already part of the way there, but there is an important difference. While Kegels are focused on strengthening the pelvic floor as a whole, pussy milking is all about active engagement of the different muscles that make up your pelvic floor. It involves controlled contractions, pulsing and squeezing, and you can do those in sync with your partner's movement or, well, he's holding still. So, what's the easiest way to find and activate the pelvic floor muscles? Well, imagine that you are urinating and you squeeze to stop the flow of urine. The easiest way to make sure that you're doing it right, you could actually just try it while you're peeing. The next time that you're going to the bathroom, stop midstream. That is the muscle group that we are going to be using here, but that's not the whole story. And by the way, don't just do that all the time because it's not particularly great for your urinary tract. You can actually play around with engaging these muscles more deeply and more intentionally. And when it comes to incredible vaginal technique, practice really does make perfect, which brings me to the next step. Number 2, strengthen the muscles of your pelvic floor. Now, you may already have a strong pelvic floor. You may have been doing your Kegels for years now, and congratulations, because again, you're closer to where we are headed. But the muscles involved in Pompoir are like any others. The more you exercise them, the stronger they will become. Luckily, working out these muscles is incredibly simple. It doesn't take long, and it can be done literally anywhere at any time, like while you're watching YouTube videos. Plus, it feels really good, all right? There are only so many exercises that we get to do that feel pleasurable. Luckily, these are those. I have 3 favorite exercises in my rotation, and I'm gonna share one for every experience level. The first and the most obvious is basic Kegels. This is when you squeeze your pelvic floor like you're holding in a pea. You can squeeze it for 5 seconds and then release and repeat. You can do this a few times per session, and you can do a few sessions per day. Then we have flutter pulses. Rather than a long squeeze that builds up tightness, rapidly squeeze and release your pelvic floor. Do it as fast as you can for 20 or 30 seconds, whatever you're capable of, and you will build up your endurance and your control in no time. And if you're looking to level up or you're already familiar with those, try the elevator exercise. You see, there are actually 3 layers of muscles in the pelvic floor, and you can control all of them. Just imagine your vaginal muscles as an elevator moving up through different levels. You squeeze lightly, then tighter as you work your way up from the entrance of your vaginal opening all the way to the end of your vaginal canal, closer to your cervix. Once you're at the highest level, slowly release back down again. And if you've never tried this before, it's okay that it may take a while for you to get that degree of control over your mind and body. So now that we've covered the basics and how to get your puss ready for pompoir, let's get into the juicy part, how to use this during sex. Step 3, pompoir techniques to blow his mind and yours. The amazing thing about pompoir is that there are many different ways to use it. No matter where you begin, it's going to feel amazing because of all the things I mentioned earlier. But the more you practice, the more you can actually intensify the sensation that you're both receiving by honing these techniques over time. Now, the most basic technique is simply squeezing tightly while he's inside of you. It's like you're trying to give his penis a big hug with your vaginal canal. So let's call that technique 1, the hug. If you are looking for general tightness, in order to feel fuller as he enters you and give him a tighter experience, you can simply hold the squeeze for as long as is comfortable and release. Or you can squeeze and release along the rhythm of him thrusting back and forth. You can play with squeezing while he thrusts in or squeezing while he pulls out and see which feels best for you and for him. If you're looking to bring a little more technique into it, then you can try milking, as in, yes, milking like you would a cow, only it's a lot sexier. Technique number 2, pussy milking. So try tightening up while he's pushing inside of you and then releasing on the way out in that same pattern that we discussed earlier with the elevator, starting at the base, then the middle, and then up at the top of your pelvic floor, and then releasing back down. This may be easier if he is just holding steady inside of you. That way you can get a better practice without all the motion going on of what's happening inside of your body. This technique will give him the experience of having a massage from you on the inside. And then try technique number 3. If you're feeling up to it, you can also bring a rapid pulse into the bedroom. Try wrapping your legs around him while he's all the way in you and quickly squeezing and releasing to create an incredible pulsing sensation for you both. And lastly, technique number 4, the lock and release. When he's all the way inside of you, squeeze tightly as if you're trying to lock him into place. And when you're ready, you release and let him go out and back in for another thrust. This feels amazing for you because you are going to intensify the feeling of all of him inside of you. One thing that's important to remember is that pompoir isn't necessarily something you should be doing for the whole duration of sex unless you have practiced. It is especially useful and effective as either one of you is getting closer to orgasm. Now, once you have built up your stamina and the strength of your muscles, then you will be able to do this for a longer period of time. Just like anything else, the more that you practice, the more endurance that you will have during the game. But it is important to remember that these muscles do get tired, especially when you are starting. So don't wear yourself out. Be selective about when you utilize them. Just like with any technique, knowing how to use it and when to use it in order to build up sensation over time is what makes the difference between good and unforgettable. And speaking of endurance, movement, and rhythm, if you want to learn how to keep pleasure building without wearing yourself out, my Thrusting and Positions Masterclass is full of easy to apply techniques that feel incredible for both you and your partner. And you can check out that at the link below. Now, finally, here are some of the most pleasurable positions to try pompoir in. Pleasurable positions, pompoir. Pleasurable pompoir positions. Positions of pleasure pompoir. Step 4, experiment. The amazing thing about pompoir is that it feels awesome and different in all of the different positions, but I do have a personal few favorites that I want to share with you now. Now, I love using this technique during missionary in particular, and that's because it gives you a lot of control over sensation. You can actually guide your man how you want him to be thrusting by creating a rhythm for him to follow. I also love this because in missionary, you're lying back. You're not actually expending a whole lot of muscular energy. And so without the rest of your body trying to focus on moving or grinding or bumping up and down, if you're riding cowgirl, you're able to really put all of your mind's focus and tune your entire body in to just squeezing, releasing, pulling, pulsing, and twisting with your vaginal canal. This is also a great technique to use when he's just penetrating you. He doesn't need to move at all for you both to feel all the pleasure that this practice has to offer, which I think is also very sweet, can feel very, very connected. And for us women who maybe don't always feel like we're doing the active part of sex because he's doing the majority of the thrusting, this gives us an opportunity to feel like we are really deeply engaged and connected. Once you have practiced a bit, Pompoir feels great while you're riding cowgirl. It really helps you to feel every movement and like you're in complete control over the experience. I know for me, it makes me feel like a goddess who knows some ancient secrets about pleasing her man. And lastly, I just should mention that you don't need a partner to experience the pleasure of Pompoir. It feels just as good for you if you do it with any sort of toy inserted inside of you. In fact, if you're new to it, practicing with yourself, either with your fingers so you can really get a sense of where the motion is happening inside of your body, or with a toy is the perfect way to get a hang on things. All right, there you have it. One of the simplest ways to take control over your pleasure and increase sensation for your both in order to have bigger and more explosive and easier to get to orgasms. And honestly, this video is just the beginning of what's possible when you understand how to use your body in order to maximize pleasure. So whether it's fine-tuning your movement, experiencing deeper penetration, learning how to sync with your partner for next level connection, small changes can lead to big results. And if you want more techniques like this to make sex feel even better for both of you, check out my Thrusting and Positions Masterclass. It is designed to help you create the kind of sex you both crave. Let me know what you thought about this in the comments. Tell me about all of the amazing vaginal gymnasts that you have been with and the wild vaginal hand jobs that you have experienced or hope to experience. I hope you have as much fun with this technique as I do. I know you and your partner will love it. I'm Caitlin V, and I will see you here next week. Bye.